very nice quote that I read once.
We need to convince our young people that
When you sweat
good to be an
a
entrepreneur.
lot,
selfishly for
They
myself,
can be in
the
the
big
big
ones
You don't
in that
really
category is
need
what
a huge
it doesn't
capital
do good
start.
for 30.
When instead of just holding on to all of the stock that you got from Yahoo, you did what we call a collar. You collared it. So you hedged it. So tell everybody what went through your mind, because that was a big bet with huge dollars, right?
Yeah.
And it was a
It was actually pretty simple. So, hedging stock, if, Yahoo paid us in Yahoo stock. And, I was smart enough to recognize, I guess, that what goes up could go down. But it wasn't that big a step because I was worth more than $1 billion. How much did I need, right? So I was telling everybody, just find me a way to hedge it. So in the event, look, if the stock price goes up and I leave something on the table, so be it, right? But I like that B next to my name and I wanted to keep it. And so I sold calls, bought puts, and effectively hedged it so that by the time, so there was a period of time from when I'd done that, and the internet stock market kept on going up, and I told people I'd hedged it, and Goldman Sachs, the company, had told people what I'd done. And I remember going on CNBC, the business channel, and then the guy going, boy, don't you feel stupid that Yahoo stock has kept on going up and you had this hedge? And I'm like, yeah, I feel so stupid riding around my G5 that I bought online, And it was just like, not to sound like a crazy, greedy capitalist, but yeah, and it was like, I just didn't want to screw it up. And so I hedged it, and then the internet bubble burst, and I was fully protected, and actually even made a little bit more money. And the motto, what I learned was you don't need to be greedy. I was very, very blessed. I was very fortunate. Look, I didn't plan the internet stock market to go up, and I didn't plan it to go down, so I was lucky in terms of scale, and I didn't want to screw it up. Yeah. And so I hedged.
When you have a good idea, right, you ask your friends, you ask for feedback around, you say, oh, I'm all excited, it's a great idea.
Right.
My friends like it, I can't find. What do you do next? You go to Google, right? And you put it in there and you say, it's this, 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 and you find 50 different keyword searches, and you say, there's nothing there. Right? Wow, it must be a great idea, no one else is doing it. Wrong. The reason there's nothing there is the 15 people who did it before you are out of business, their web servers are down, and they're not indexed anymore. And there's no sense of history in a lot of the things that are happening, because, and particularly with mobile apps, because there's no real web there. There's like a one-page web setup that directs you to the mobile app. There's nothing indexed in the app, and so 50 different people are doing the same app, and, and because you can't get a URL, it's, the XX app, right? And it's XXX app, and it's hard to find the comparables, and it's hard to learn from the history of it. And so whether it's Google, whether it's Facebook, the real challenge right now in starting a company is you can't learn from history because all the history's gone. And us old motherfuckers at least have that. Maybe it holds us back, and maybe, it's the worst thing that can happen is, being, ignorant of what happened might, is probably better in a lot of cases, but sometimes it's not. And so I think that's one of the biggest challenges that entrepreneurs face today, that there's no history to really go back to look at.
We gave it a good go, right, from 01 to 08. We raised it back up, but they did slip on a big banana peel. I want to pivot right now. Purple and yellow banana peel for Yahoo, for you that know their colors.
That was another thing. Wait, now you go. And so we sell to them, right? And our office is in Dallas, and the way we ran our business, it was just like lean and mean, right? You invest in your product, you invest in your customers, you invest in your people, and we had open offices. You don't need fancy stuff. They immediately came down and just redid all the furniture in purple and gold. I'm like, it's cool. That's my high school's colors, But why are we spending this money? Got a whole new office, a whole new building. I'm just like, why are we spending this money? And
Yeah, well, one of the ways. So the pivot is.
Moral of the story is, you spend money. Okay, so while we're talking entrepreneurship,
Reggie knows how to spend money, right?
Or not to spend it, right?
Right.
Yep. So one of the things in my rules, right, when I look at companies to invest in, if someone walks in with swag, here's my coffee mug with my logo, here's your T-shirt with my logo. I don't see anybody wearing a T-shirt with a startup's logo. Do you?
No.
Would you wear some other startup's logo polo shirt? Hell no. Hell no, right? It's just a waste of money. You know, put your money where you're able to differentiate yourself and add value that separates yourself so you can get ahead. Don't waste it.
Well, people often ask me what it takes to start a business. What is the key ingredient? How did I start the business, and how did we grow to about $20 million in sales so quickly? You know, they all come up with some new whiz-bang idea. They're going to invent the better mousetrap. They're going to come up with new software, new hardware. And more often than not, it seems like they've spent their millions before they thought through their idea. But when we talk about new companies and growth and success, there really is only one common ingredient across any type of business, whether it's oil or computers or software or anything. And that key ingredient is customers. Without customers, whether you're starting a business, running a business, expanding a business, you don't have a business. There is no business. Customers are the key ingredient. But you know, one thing about customers, even though everybody has them, if you think about how companies treat their customers, it's shocking. You know, fortunately, Phil was real good to me, and as we were able to talk about rapid growth and service and customer satisfaction, he allowed me to bring a whole panel of experts. So I wanted to thank each and every one of you for coming today and serving on my panel of experts in customer satisfaction. Each and every one of you is an expert as a consumer. You're an expert in being a customer. Whether you're going to a gas station, whether you're going to a local grocery store to buy lettuce, no matter what it is, whether you're buying big gulps at 7-Eleven, which I tend to do quite a bit. That's my charge in the morning. Each of us is a customer satisfaction expert. But you know, if you think back on how we're treated, how many of you have a story that you love to tell about how wonderful you were treated at the 7-Eleven? How many of you have a story to tell about how wonderful you were treated at the local grocery store? Does anybody just like stand up and cheer? Oh, what a great 7-Eleven, you know? It just doesn't happen. Not anything against 7-Eleven or the Southland Corp. I mean, I spent a lot of money on muffins and big gulps there. But at the same time, very rarely do we just exuberate wonderful feelings about a positive instance that we've had as consumers. And that's crazy because we're all our best experts. But think about your own customers. And when I say customers, if you're in an internal function in your own company, your fellow workers are your customers. If you're dealing with the outside world, the people who purchase your products are your customers. You know, are you giving them the service that you would like to have? Are you giving them a reason to jump up and down and say, hey, let's do business with MicroSolutions, or hey, let's do business with Phenom? Think about it. You know, we really don't. We think about getting through our days. We think about getting the job done. We think about getting our raises, which are very, very important. But the bottom line is, like Phil said, to get those profits, you got to have the customers. You got to have happy customers. That's the bottom line. You know, MicroSolutions, we've been going and growing, and it's impossible not to have growing pains. It's impossible not to make mistakes. We screw up all the time. And you know, it doesn't bother me as president. If I have an employee who just didn't do something right, just made a mistake, it's good. Because if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. You know, these things I'm saying, they're not unique. They're not things that I just thought up in some miracle growth. You know, things, when I talk to people in our company, when I talk to people about our company, I never had a unique thought. I can't remember. I don't know that I ever did. I can't remember if I ever will, or I don't expect ever to. There's no magic formulas to customer service. There's no magic formulas to doing things right. These sayings that you hear me say are things that I've read elsewhere and just regurgitate back. But how many people do them? You know, we all know the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that's nice, you know, but do you do it? But even more importantly than the golden rule, what about the lover's rule? Do unto others as you would love to have them do unto you. That's what we try to stress at MicroSolutions. That's what we try to use to differentiate ourselves. Not just to get by, because everybody's going to be nice. You know, when you invite someone into your house that is an acquaintance that you like, okay, you're going to offer them coffee. You're going to offer them a donut. And that's really what you expect, you know, if you went to their house, because you're just acquaintances. But when you leave their house, it was nice. If you go back, fine. If you don't go back, fine.
That's the way customers look at businesses. If I go back, fine. If I don't go back, fine. You know, they say that 80% of the people who have a problem tell at least 10 people. Only 10% of the people who had a good experience tell anybody. And it's the same way when you go to visit an acquaintance. And when people come to try to do business with MicroSolutions, I hope, and I pray, and I try to convey to each and every one of our people that we give them a reason to want to come back. We give them a reason to do a good morning rap to say, okay, let's do business with MicroSolutions. You've got to really concentrate to do unto others as you would love to have them do unto you.
So even after you had done your thing, there was still an ache to make sure that Yahoo itself was on track. Do you know what that was about?
Yeah, they were screwing everything up. You know, I mean, look, they had an opportunity to dominate streaming media. They also owned, at the same time, the patent to cost per click.
Yeah.
Right? Now, Google's entire business to this day is built around pay-per-click, rather, not cost per pay-per-click. Yeah. So they had the entire patent for pay-per-click. Had they just said, sorry, Google, you can't use it, there would be no Google. Instead, they said, yeah, $133 million and give us some stock. They were just too nice, right? Which blinded them in a lot of respects. And I remember walking in with a $32 million sale, saying, okay, we're going to do streaming, we're going to sell all this company's content, you know, it's worth $32 million for us, and it's going to preempt these other potential competitors. And I forget if it was Jerry or Tim or whoever said, no, we don't work that way. We don't preempt competition. We just leave it open. I'm like, okay, it's time for me to go buy a basketball team. They just didn't see these things. And I mean, it's a lesson in your businesses. There's going to be, everybody's always trying to kick your ass. And you have to figure out how to kick your own ass first. Seriously, because if you're not brutally honest with yourself in your own business about what your frailties are, someone else is going to find them. Yahoo didn't get that. Yahoo just thought, you know what, we're just going to continue moving forward and then we'll just compete with everybody else and, you know, we have no other problems. Didn't quite work out for them, did it?
I talk to entrepreneurs. You have to make a decision what's important to you. Time to go out and do whatever, be whoever you are, help whoever you want to help, raise your family, whatever it is, or do you want to create a world-class company? What is your goal? And you have to understand your goals, and there should always be a price. You know, if it is about selling at some point, what's the price? I just had conversations with two of my companies today. Like, you always have to have a price in mind, and then you put that price out there because someone might say yes.
So always be open to it.
Well, just always know why you're there.
Right.
What is it that causes you to work 24 hours a day? What is it that causes you to dream about this company? What is it that gets you so fired up you can't think about anything else? What is it just that you just say, this is me, right? I am, you know, what is it that drives you? And if you understand that, then deciding to sell or not to sell is easy.